Welcome to this week's edition of Sun News Blazer Beat. I'm Troy Grimmond.
And I'm Brant Farsko. Thanks for tuning in.
Men's basketball dropped their last two conference games to SUU and UVU, bringing their conference record to 3 wins and 4 losses. The team dropped from the 3rd spot in the conference to the 8th spot. Tanner Christensen earned the only double-double of the game against UVU with 15 points and 14 rebounds. The Blazers hit the road to Texas to face off against Abilene Christian University tonight at 6.
The women's team, on the other hand, won the rivalry game against SUU 78-71 and also lost to UVU. After the break, Blazer Beat producer Zoe Hansen will be back with Maddie and Macy Warren to talk about how they prepare for these big matchups.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
What sports did you play growing up? Was it always basketball?
We danced for a long time when we were little. We danced for like 7 years, and then we played basketball and softball.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, although we didn't like dance, it was kind of something that my grandma had a dance studio, so it was kind of something like our whole family did, and we didn't really like it, and then we kind of took the sports path by doing, we did like Little League soccer and stuff, and like kind of that traditional route, but then we did softball and basketball and eventually stuck with basketball.
What is your favorite memory on the Utah Tech team?
I would say this year we beat Oregon, and that was a really big game. And then afterwards in the locker room, we had like a mosh pit, and we all had water, and we threw water on coach, and so that was really fun for me. I'd probably say the same thing, just being in a game like that big for us, like it was a big win for our program, so I think just being able to be a part of that and be a part of the celebration was probably my favorite. So every game day, I only listen to a game time playlist, and it's the same songs, and 2 hours before every game, I drink a Red Bull. And so I just listen to that same playlist all day long, and then I always drink a Red Bull. I think one way we prepared this past week for rivalry week was just having like really good energy during practice, and like that starts even like during our stretch. So just having really good energy, just prepare for games that are going to take a lot of energy.
Perfect. And then my last question is kind of a fun question. Do you guys, is it true that you both love steak? Is that your favorite, meal?
Yeah, actually last week before we played SUU, the night before we were like, what do we want for dinner? And we're like, it's a game day tomorrow. We play SUU, like let's go get a steak. So we went to Texas Roadhouse.
And got a steak.
Get a steak before the game.
Well, the cool thing I thought about that little video there was that Maddie and Macy kind of took a different path from the rest of their family and focused on basketball instead of dancing and softball and all that.
Yeah, dancing actually can help with basketball, as you can see right there, Macy and Maddie. But they were on fire. They were great assets for this Utah Tech women's basketball team. It's great to see them doing good.
Well, yeah, they're killing it, especially coming off injury. They had the exact same injury last year, too. Both of them did. And so it really helps that they had dancing, because that involves a lot of footwork, and basketball is a very footwork-oriented sport. You got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to drive to the hoop. There's a lot going on there, and I'm very excited for what they're going to do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's great to see them back out there on the court. In other news, Montana State dominated the Utah Tech tennis team 6-1 in the last matchup, making the Trailblazers record 0-2. Kylie Kezos was able to secure a point for the Trailblazers with a third set tiebreaker. Head coach Eric Pellin expressed optimism, highlighting the team's potential. We are right there. We just need to close it out. It's exciting considering we have 3 freshmen and a sophomore leading the way right now. It's a great start to the season with a lot of great things to come. The Trailblazers are set for their home opener this Saturday as they take on the Utah State University Aggies.
The Utah Tech women's softball team is gearing up for a jam-packed season, filled to the brim with top-tier opponents. The Blazers will take on 2 Pac-12 teams as well as a Big Ten matchup before starting conference play. Their first match will be with the University of Arizona February 8th. The Blazers will then go on to play the Big Ten University of Wisconsin in a 2-game series and play another 2-game stint against the University of California, Santa Barbara. The team went 35-18 last year and only lost 5 times in conference play. The team solidified themselves as WAC regular season champs. Head coach Randy Simpkins explained the team's visions and goals for the season.
our biggest goal is to get better every day. You know, just like everybody's goal is to get better every day. But we have a specific, vision, purpose plan of what we're trying to get accomplished every day. We have a practice plan of, hey, today's going to be a defense day or an offense day or a hitting day or a throwing day or whatever. So we have specific goals for each drill that we do, and just focus on one rep at a time. A lot of help. We have an excellent athletic training staff, excellent sports psychology department, excellent mentors, and these guys know it's a long season. People that have been through it before understand. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So staying healthy each and every day. We try to manage workload, try to manage the number of times we're throwing, the number of times we're hitting, the number of times we're running. Our strength and conditioning. Quinn and Craig, they do a fantastic job in the weight room along with Coach Garut. They do a great job there. So that helps us tremendously. But we have a lot of help to try to keep us healthy all the way through. Our goal is to try to compete at the top of the conference every year. I told them last year, you kind of flipped the script, because our goal was to get there, and now we actually did it. And now our goal is to stay there. Good to great's hard. Average or good to be at the top of the conference, that's hard. But staying there is really, really difficult. You're going to get everybody's number one pitcher, everybody's best preparation, everybody's best, scattering report. They're going to come for you because they know, hey, we were at the top of the conference and we're the defending champs, so we're going to get everybody's best shot for sure. But you know what? We had a phrase on the back of our shirts last year: nobody cares, work harder. The game doesn't care. That we were conference champs last year or we won 19 games the year before. They don't care. It's still 9 girls named Sally in the other dugout. And it's a matter of who plays well that day.
Also starting out strong, the Utah Tech indoor track and field team shattered school records in the Northern Arizona Lumberjack Team Challenge. The Trailblazers notched 4 program records and achieved 10 top 8 finishes with 18 personal bests. Ashlyn Parrish broke the record in the 60-meter hurdles, Rashawn Gibson in the 60 meters, Cadence Sherwood in the 200-meter, and Whitney Christiansen in the 400-meter, and Lexi Harrison in the 1,000-meter. The Trailblazers get a weekend off, but will be back in action February 2nd at the Ron Mann Classic in Flagstaff, Arizona. And 18 personal bests in 1 track and field event. That's amazing.
Well, that's huge too, because it's an aerobic and an anaerobic sport, Brant. I mean, you got to train long distance and you got to train short distance. You got to train to finish, train to maintain pace throughout the entire time. It's a very hard sport to do, and 18 personal records is absolutely huge for this program.
And then Whitney Christiansen in the 400-meter. I don't know if you've ever run a 400-meter.
It is
one of the hardest track and field events to run. You have to be sprinting the entire time, basically. It is very hard, so props to her.
After the break, we'll be back with a deeper dive into the huge factor changing athletics today.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
In recent years, the transfer portal has emerged as a force that has been reshaping the landscape of college athletics. It was once rare for a player to transfer, but now it's becoming the norm. Student athletes now have this newfound flexibility that allows them to explore opportunities beyond their initial choice of college. This can create a shift in team dynamics and fan loyalties, as these fans are witnessing their favorite teams transform overnight with star players entering and exiting the portal. College football is one of the programs that the transfer portal affects the most, having 2 transfer portal windows a year. In 2022, there were nearly 1,300 undergraduates transferring from one FBS football school to another. Utah Tech football team has seen 2 star players transfer within the last 2 months. Bo Sparks, who led the team in receiving touchdowns last year, has committed to Texas State University. And Cyrus Webster, who has been a huge asset to the Trailblazers defense, transferred to Washington State University. With the approval of NIL by the NCAA, the competitive balance of college sports is under scrutiny. Powerhouse programs that have a high budget for these sports will attract the best athletes to their school. This could create an even wider gap between the elite programs and the rest. Smaller schools may find it harder to maintain a competitive edge as their star players transfer to bigger schools. One thing is for sure, the transfer portal has become a game changer, challenging the traditional narrative of college sports. As we witness this transformation, one can't help but wonder, does the transfer portal enhance or erode the essence of college sports. And Troy, what do you think?
Well, I'm glad you asked me this, Brant, because personally, I think it is a very not smart idea. I think it takes away from the entire essence of college sports. Because you got to think about it. You're a high schooler, you're good at your sport. Colleges come, they look at you, they take you around your campus, they invest time into you. You commit to their school, you say, hey, I'm going to come play for you, I'm going to come study at your university. And then all of a sudden, you're not getting playing time, maybe you don't like the school, or maybe there's a name, image, and likeliness deal that another school, which is a huge factor, by the way, there's another school that's offering you more money to come play. And also, you got to take into effect that maybe some family issues, some financial issues might be in play too. We don't know the whole story with that, but it's going to degrade loyalty throughout teams, and that's what I don't like about it. They're incorporating college football and college sports as a whole and making it more professional, which is cool and all, but once again, it degrades loyalty. People aren't going to have the same opportunities with other star players coming in. A starter at University of Texas of Austin might get benched for an incoming 5-star recruit from Oklahoma. And it's just not fair because this kid has worked his butt off for this spotlight, and it just gets taken away like that. And it just takes away loyalty, it takes away from the aspect of the program, and it takes away from college football as a whole. And can you name any, some sort of players that have moved on? Because I know Alabama has had a lot of people move on.
Yeah, so Alabama has had about 30 people hit the transfer portal since Nick Saban has announced his retirement, which was about 2 weeks ago. And here at Utah Tech, Quali Conley, he committed and started out at Utah Tech in 2022. He then entered the transfer portal and went to San Jose State and played there in 2022. And it is currently back in the transfer portal. So that just goes to show how fast these players are staying at one place and then going the next year.
And then coaching's a big factor too. I mean, Washington's coach is going to Alabama to take over for Nick Saban. And the Washington players on Twitter and Instagram were in an uproar. They did not like it at all. They were like, oh, this guy preached so much loyalty, and all of a sudden he's leaving for, greener pastures, an SEC program. It's just not fair. And the name, image, and likeness deal, last year, Utah players on scholarship all got rewarded with brand new trucks.
I didn't see that.
Not the walk-ons though. The walk-ons got nothing. So you have to wonder: is name, image, and likeliness deals ruining the aspect of a team in college sports? And that's it for this week's edition of Sun News Blazer Beat. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you here next week, same time, same place. Have a great week, Trailblazers.